I hit the jackpot for $20 million. I quit my job and prepared to move back to my hometown. My boyfriend, Caden Sterling, reminded me not to show off my wealth to my family. I laughed at him for being so paranoid. Caden didn't say anything, but he changed my emergency contact on my phone to his number. At the station, I called my dad to pick me up. He asked me why I was coming back so suddenly. I joked that I was sick and was coming home to be a leech and recover. I waited until evening, but he never showed up. I caught a ride home in the pouring rain. As soon as I reached the door, I heard my sister-in-law complaining. Can we please not let her in? I don't want to live with a sick person. It's bad luck. You have to promise me. Do not tell them about the lottery when you get back. My boyfriend Caden held my hand. He looked incredibly worried as he gave me one last warning. Are you sure you don't want me to go with you? I thought he was overthinking things. I wanted to tease him for being so cautious, but then I saw the deep concern in his eyes. He had actually taken time off work to accompany me because I get terrible motion sickness on the bus. He was worried I couldn't take care of myself alone. I patted his hand. Go back to work. You need to keep an eye on that project at the office. I promise I won't tell them about the money. Don't worry. After getting my word, Caden changed my emergency contact to his number. I finally nagged him into heading back to the station. He kept looking back at me as he walked away. I sighed and stood at the station entrance. I called my dad, acting a bit spoiled, and asked him to come get me. On the other end, my dad paused for a second. He asked why I was back so unexpectedly. I intentionally used a weak voice. I worked myself sick. I quit my job to come home and recover. I want to see what it feels like to live off my parents for a while. The phone went silent for a few seconds. For some reason, a faint feeling of unease stirred in my heart. I tried to comfort myself, thinking maybe he was just shocked that I was ill. I'll come get you after work, he said. He hung up immediately. I sat on a bench outside the station feeling a bit let down, but it was a weekday. My dad was known for being a serious worker. It made sense that he couldn't leave early to pick me up. I waited from 3 in the afternoon until 7 in the evening. The sky turned dark and a heavy rain began to pour. My dad wouldn't pick up his phone. There were fewer and fewer people at the station. I started to feel scared. I had to run out into the rain and hail an Uber. The town wasn't very safe at night. I caught the driver watching me through the rearview mirror with a creepy look. I gripped my phone tightly the whole way. I didn't breathe a sigh of relief until the car stopped safely. I bolted toward my front door like I was escaping something. Can we please not let her in? I don't want to live with a sick person. It's bad luck. My sister-in-law Mindy's voice drifted out. My hand froze right before I could knock. Then came my brother Rusty's impatient voice. Mom, Mindy is 5 months pregnant. I won't let her stay in the same room as a walking biohazard. I let out a cold laugh. I gave up on knocking and pulled my keys from my bag. I opened the door and walked right in. This is my house. I don't need your permission. This is Cassie's house. You have no right to talk like that. My mother and I spoke at the same time. My mom was standing by the kitchen door. She looked at me and smiled, though she seemed a bit surprised. Cassie, you're home. She saw that my hair was soaked. She quickly explained, your father had to work late tonight. He didn't have time to go get you. I cursed myself for being inconsiderate. I should have just taken a car earlier instead of expecting my dad to leave work for me. Why didn't you knock? Where are your manners? Rusty frowned and started nitpicking. He watched me struggle with my heavy suitcase, but his butt didn't move an inch from the sofa. I told you, this is my house. Why the hell would I knock on my own door? I had never gotten along with Rusty. Every word we exchanged was a barb. My mom sighed and went back into the kitchen. Mindy leaned into Rusty's arms. She didn't hide her annoyance as she glanced at me. So, Cassie's back to leech off the family? Coming back from the big city is really something. You're so proud of being a burden. I didn't feel like wasting my breath on her. I walked past her toward my old bedroom. There was a little rabbit-shaped air freshener hanging on the door. I reached out, ripped it off, and threw it on the floor. Cassie Ross, why are you throwing my things? Mindy got angry. She stood up and screamed at me. Don't you dare go in there. I ignored her and pushed the door open. The entire room had been painted pink. There was a soft rug on the floor and fairy lights everywhere. Near the window sat a crib. My room had been completely turned into a nursery. What is the meaning of this? I pointed into the room and demanded an answer. Mindy walked over with a scowl. She grabbed a bottle of disinfectant and started spraying it wildly into the room. What does it look like? Are you blind? This is my baby's room. Get away from here. You're covered in germs. Don't stay in this room and infect my baby. Who are you calling full of germs? I was truly furious now. I had paid for this house in full. Even if I didn't come home often, keeping a room for me was only right. Now, they hadn't even bothered to tell me before turning it into a nursery. You're the one who said you were sick and came back to recover. Who knows what kind of nasty disease you have, Mindy muttered. Seeing my face darken, she quickly backed away and turned to Rusty for help. Rusty, can you stop making a scene, Cassie? Rusty stepped in and shielded Mindy. You just came in from outside. You haven't showered or disinfected. Your sister-in-law is carrying the Ross family heir. It's been 6 months. How did you become so selfish? I rolled my eyes. Are you serious, Rusty? If I were selfish, would I have let a loser like you leech off me in this house for years? Who are you calling a loser? Shut up! My father stood at the door with a grim expression. He glared at Rusty. Rusty, Mindy, apologize to Cassie right now. Rusty snorted. He grabbed Mindy and stormed off into the master bedroom, slamming the door so hard it shook. The living room fell silent. My father's expression softened then. He gave me a guilty smile. I'm sorry, Cassie. I couldn't make it to pick you up today. Are you soaked? Go take a shower before you catch a cold. I felt a bit hurt. I pouted and started acting spoiled with him. My room is gone. Do you and Mom not want me anymore? Don't talk nonsense. My father's voice suddenly got loud, startling me. He quickly returned to his usual gentle tone. Don't overthink it, Cassie. It was my fault for not telling you about the nursery beforehand. He walked over and pulled me into a hug. Your sister-in-law is due soon. She wanted to set it up early. I thought you were a kind girl who would understand her, right? Those words felt a bit strange, but I was wrapped in his warm embrace. I didn't think too deeply about it. I just asked weakly, then where am I supposed to sleep? Stay in the nursery for now. There's a big bed in there. Just make do for a few days. My father patted my back. Mindy thinks I'm covered in germs. My mother came out of the kitchen and raised her voice on purpose. Don't listen to her nonsense. Our precious girl doesn't have any germs. She just thinks she's special because of that belly. I burst out laughing, my tears turning into a smile. I didn't care what Rusty or Mindy thought of me. Our relationship had always been bad, and I had no interest in fixing it. As long as my parents still cared about me, that was enough. I took a hot shower and changed. By the time I came out, my mom had set the table with a feast. Rusty and Mindy were already eating, looking cold and annoyed. My parents waited for me with smiles. Only after I sat down did they pick up their forks. My mom even brought out 2 plates of steamed seafood from the kitchen. Mom, why were you hiding this from us? Mindy complained. Are you afraid your grandson and I are going to eat you out of house and home? My mom glared at her but ignored the question. Here, Cassie, your favorites, mantis, shrimp, and clams. Thanks, Mom. I smiled happily. I purposely smirked at Rusty and Mindy to show off how much I was loved. Eat. All she does is eat. Rusty slammed his fork onto the table and stood up. I don't know why you're so good to her. She quit her job just to come back and leech off us. You bastard. My dad raised his hand and slapped Rusty across the face. Rusty's cheek turned red and swollen instantly. He looked dazed for a moment. Dad, if you aren't going to eat, get back to your room. Stop making the house so miserable. Rusty stared at my dad in disbelief. Then he gave me a venomous look, kicked his chair over, and stomped back to the master bedroom. Mindy felt awkward and followed him like a shadow. My dad stood there huffing for a bit before sitting down. He smiled at me. Did that scare you, Cassie? Your brother has been spoiled. He's useless. Eat up, Cassie, my mom said gently, putting food on my plate. Let's ignore them. I made everything you like. You've worked so hard. Just rest at home and don't feel pressured. Your father and I don't make much, but we can afford to take care of our precious girl. My eyes stung. Tears poured out uncontrollably as I hugged my mother tightly. Good girl, don't cry. You're a grown-up now. Isn't it embarrassing to cry like this? My mom held me and gently stroked my hair. In that moment, I almost told them about the $20 million. I wanted to tell them they didn't have to work anymore. I wanted to tell them their daughter would take care of them forever. You have to promise me. Do not tell them about the lottery when you get back. Caden's warning echoed in my ears. I bit my lip and swallowed the words. I changed the subject instead. Mom, maybe I should move back to that small condo I bought. Mindy is far along in her pregnancy. It's not good if we keep arguing. The air went weirdly still for a few seconds. It was just like when my dad had hesitated on the phone earlier. I looked up at my mom in confusion. She forced a panicked smile and tried to soothe me. Don't be silly. This is your home. Stay here and spend time with me. Don't you want to? Of course I do. I love you, Mom. I felt like I was missing something, but I didn't have time to think. My mom distracted me with more sweet talk. After dinner, my mom wouldn't let me help with the dishes. She insisted I go to my room to rest. I lay on the big bed, staring at the cloud-shaped lamp on the ceiling. This room was the most spacious guest room besides the master bedroom. Even Rusty used to live in a tiny room converted from a den. When Mindy moved in and got pregnant, they moved into the master bedroom. My parents didn't want to take my room, fearing I'd be uncomfortable when I visited, so they moved into the den. Because I had good grades and made money, I had always been treated better than Rusty. I always thought our family didn't prefer sons over daughters. I actually thought they preferred me. Thinking about my childhood, I drifted off to sleep. When I woke up, it was the middle of the night. I was thirsty. I got up to go to the kitchen for water. As I passed the den, I heard my parents whispering inside. That was strange. It was after midnight. My parents usually went to bed early. Were they losing sleep because of my argument with Rusty? I tiptoed to the door and leaned in to listen to their conversation. In an instant, my blood turned to ice. My hands and feet went cold.